I have a cat in a box. You can't see her, but I have a cat in a box. Hi. Wow. Look, you can see the very tip of her head. You gonna come up? You gonna come out? She's gonna go jump. Ah, she jumped. You gonna say hi? You gonna say hi? Come here. Say hi. Oh, she's being difficult. Come here. Hi. I have a Sora. We had a Sora in a box. Who's now upset because she's being held. She's not a holding kitty. She wants to be petted. She doesn't like to be held. Say hi. Show them your pretty face. Show them your pretty face. There she is. That's Sora. Being cranky. So hello and welcome to Domy Tries This. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug is the second of the two mugs that my daughter and I found on a recent grocery trip. It is very hot because the tea in it is very hot, but you can see the pretty panther on it. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I found this one. I found it. She found the clouds one. I found this one. Anyway, and inside our very hot big mug is this white Teavana white tea Youthberry. It says flavored white tea blend with notes of wild orange blossom. It has a caffeine level of 2 out of 4. And its ingredients include apple, white tea, hibiscus, rosehip, candied mango, which is mango, sugar, citric acid, orange peels, and natural flavors. Candied pineapple, which is sugar and pineapple, citric acid, and then also rose petals. The white tea must be the one that has the 4, the 2 out of the 4. Anyway, it comes in this really neat container that I had trouble opening the first time. And when you open it, it's really sealed up and you have your tea bags on the inside. They smell beautiful. Yeah, I opened this up and I got the little piece that they have over the top off of it and it just wafted out. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Found this at Kroger's. So that's Teavana Youthberry flavored white tea blend. They had a couple of them. This is the one that interested me. Anyway, let's give her a sip. She hasn't been seeping long. Seeping. I guess they're seeping too. It does say on here 1 bag for every 8 ounces. It only needs a 2-minute steep, so who knows? Maybe it is already there. I did use 2 tea bags because this coffee mug is definitely more than 8 ounces. I would say this is a 16-ounce coffee mug. Going to go ahead and give it a sip and then we will get started. Don't get the same scent that you do from the actual box, unfortunately, but being very careful because it's hot and I burned my mouth earlier. Okay, it's still very mild. It's still working on it, but I'm getting a sweetness in there. I'm not getting specific flavors yet. That's unfortunate, but we'll let it sit. Hopefully by the end of the video, it will be there. It doesn't sit for the entire, when I'm putting on all the makeup stuff, but hopefully the 5 or 10 minutes it sits here, it'll do just fine. Anyway, so the first thing I want to mention is I had mentioned to my group, and I don't know if I mentioned it here on the channel, but I was intending to start something called Fiction and Makeup. It was inspired by Bailey Sarian and her Makeup and Murder Mondays. However, I am too blind. I have really tried to figure out how to do this. However, without spending $1,000 that I don't have on contacts, it's just, I can't. The way this is set up, I would need like giant cards or something that I could literally stick in front of my face, which would make the whole thing pointless. So, yeah, I really wanted that to happen. I really wanted to do that. It's not going to happen. There's just no way. I can't figure out how to do it. And not make it completely awkward and impossible. Just all the squinching, trying to read and trying to put on the makeup. It doesn't work, unfortunately. I suppose if I had, you know, like a big pad or something that I could put my writing on, that I could scroll through, that might help, but I don't have anything like that. And again, you're looking at something that's a little more pricey than I can afford to do at this point. So if I ever get the ability to do that, I will do that. But for now, it's just not going to happen. So the good news to that is we are going back, as things fall off my table, we are going back to the Bright Ladies. I want to call them tutorials, but they're not really tutorials. I guess they kind of are, but they aren't. Just, anyway, I do show you a makeup look, and that's where we go. And today's look is obviously very bright. I wanted to say, if we're going to go back to the Bright Ladies, we are going to start with very bright. And as is typical for our Bright Ladies, we have a mix of old and new products. So in the, some of these are not that old. They're relatively old, I guess. Well, in the old, we have my Alamar blush palette. That gets used today, although you don't see me put it on. It's patting on blush. Amongst the new stuff, most of this is really new. Oh, another thing that's old, and I am going to be showing you this, is my Suva Hydra Liner in grease. I will be showing you how I do my eyeliner when I'm not using a liquid eyeliner pen. I much prefer the method that I use with this. I use it with eyeshadow. So I'm going to be showing you that how I do that. Also amongst the old today are these two foundations that I mixed, and that's the Sephora 10-Hour Wear Perfection Foundation and the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. Did use these today amongst my old products, trying to get rid of them because they have hit their shelf life, and so they need to go. They are in that 6 to 12 month mark for them, so they really need to go. Amongst the new, most everything else is new to some degree. The oldest of the new are my, how did you get that on you? My Violet Voss Vibes palette. This is a matte palette, and then also I got its little friend, the Violet Voss Sparkling Cherry Mini Palette. It has the same colors, but they're all in shimmers. So those are the oldest of the new. I got those at the same time, or about the same time. The newest thing that I used one color from my Melt Muerte palette. So that is a gorgeous palette. We used one of the blues in there. And the more in the face category, also very new, is my Morphe highlighter palette. I used that today. And I used my Alamar new Brighten and Bronze Complexion trio. I did use these. I used this and I used a little bit of that. So those are old and news. Also new-ish, again, are these Eben. This is the Silky liquid lipstick, and this is their Snuggle lip pencil that I have used today. So those are our old and new that we have used today on our eyes and our face. And if you want to know how to do this look, dive it. Don't be afraid. I know some of you are going, no, I don't want to do that look. It's way too bright. Don't be afraid. Don't. Bright colors are not that scary. Honest. Promise. So let's go dive on in right now. Alrighty then, let's get started. So shuffle more things around. Haven't done my eyes as usual. I wanted to show you guys that I'm starting to use setting spray as a primer. Now I know you normally put setting spray over your makeup. However, I'm finding that this is actually working fairly well as a primer for my foundation, and it gives me one less thing to purchase, and seems to help keep all the layers I put on my face a little bit more lightweight. Primers tend to be kind of heavy and creamy, and this is just a light spray, and it just seems to work. So, this is the NYX Dewy finish. First time I've been using this. I just started using it, I should say. I've used it a couple of times. I actually really like it. Gonna go ahead and set up my eyes and be right back. All right, so we are ready to go. Take a look at my colors. They're bright, but it's a bright lady, so bright. I think I'm going to use this Viseart in I'm going to totally butcher this. Champs Elysees, something like that. Got it from my Ipsy bag. This has a little shine, so I'm going to use the matte yellow from the Vibes Matte palette rather than the shimmery cherry limeade palette. Like them both. They're both nice and bright. Do have to watch it with this Vibes palette though. Starting close to the crease and moving upward to fade it out. And a little bit darker on the outside than on the inside. Again, to fade it out. I'm going to grab more of this Viseart color and put that over and try to tone some of that down just a touch. It didn't really. Actually, it did. Just a little bit. And gave it just a touch of shine. Now, if you're afraid of brights like this and you want to do something similar to this look, feel free to use a much lighter vanilla color if you want. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lighter blue out of the Cherry Limeade. I'm going to put that on the inner corner to about almost halfway, around a third of my eye. And then we're going to transition back to the mattes. And we're going to use the matte light blue, which is called Acid Wash. And we're going to go into the dark blue on the outer corner, which is called Jellies. So, nice. Grab that. Using my Moda brushes today. I've been using them every day pretty much. All right, so we're going to grab this light blue and the Cherry Limeade. This bright light sparkly blue. And we're putting that in on this inner corner. I am getting dust all over my nose. I can feel it. Like that. We're going to go about to there. There we go. It's about between a third and a half. The reason I use shimmers on my inner corner is because with the issues I have with my inner eyes, I find mattes get very muddy and they end up looking very, they just don't look right. They really don't look right once my problems show up. Hopefully my problems won't show up today, but I have to prepare for that, you know. All right, so now we're going to take another brush. I've got blue on my nose, don't I? Yes, I got blue on my nose. All right, so we're going to take this Acid Wash. I'm going to take this other brush. These colors are so bright. And cat hair. Thank you, Sora. Sora's been sleeping up on my table again. And we're going to take that through the middle. She is almost the color of that other one. Might as well be the color of that other one. Just a tiny touch lighter, but these are doing nice, and it's going across. So I'm just doing across the middle of my lid with that, about there. Want to leave, you know, about a third or so of the outer lid. Like that. There we go. I did say we were doing bright ladies, right? Gonna clean off the brush real quick. And then we're gonna grab this darker blue. This Jellies. It's a cute name. Jellies. And we're gonna put that on this outer corner. And if you notice, I'm actually going over just a little bit. I'm using that edge to sort of help blend the colors into one another. And there we go. Like that. And I think I'm going to take some of the dark shimmery blue in here and I'm going to put that on top of that blue. Just to give it a little bit of light. Again, it's about the same color and all of it's really doing is adding just a touch of shimmer. It's just a touch darker, I think. There we go. Like that. All right. And really quickly, I'm going to go and brush my mess away. And then I'm going to take care of my other eye. So, I got a big floofy brush. And we're going to go brush, 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 brush. Quite a bit of fallout that I'm going to have to clean up. Quite a bit of glitter. Good thing I have some really good concealer to go over all of that. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this Noche Eterna from the Melt Muerte palette, which I really enjoy. And I'm going to put that in my crease and for my point. It's a nice, really dark blue. It's not a bright blue. It will help give me those depths and things that I want without... Oh, it's turning green in our yellow, but I guess that's no surprise. Nice and blendable colors, but it's very dark, so that's nice. And it's not one of those, it's not making the whole thing. It's giving you some relief from all the wah. So we're just going in our crease, I'm tapping in, going in the crease, and then I'm going out for my point. I am going to get this other Moda. This is it's supposed to be a crease brush, and I'm just going to use that to smooth out these right in here. So you see there's some skipping in there. I don't blame the shadows for that. I actually have very textured lids. I've worked on it. I've done what I can. They stay textured. So, and then I'm adding just a little bit more for the dark. That was my daughter leaving to get dinner. So rude. As you can see, I'm building that Muerte, the Noches up a little bit. Gives a nice bit of relief from all the other bright colors that are in there. And then again, I'm trying to just smooth it out a bit more over my texture. It tends to fade it, that's why I had to do another layer, but we'll go with that. Let me get the other eye. All right, so because I'm going to be wearing purple at some point today, you probably will have already seen that video. I'm going to use these two purples along the under eye. I am not adding any depth to the crease because I think this is going to be just fine the way it is. The Noches from the Muerte palette is nice and dark. I don't need to worry about adding anything else in there. So I'm going to take this lighter purple from the Cherry Limeade, And I'm going to put it in on the inner part of my eye. We have kids outside playing basketball. Yay. If you're hearing kids, it's just the neighbors. Who my longtime viewers will know are always loud. And then I'm going to take a different thing, and use this other purple. It's more of a pinky purple. And I'm going to put that on this outer lid. That needs to be darker. That definitely needs to be a little darker. So what I'm going to do, I'm taking the same brush. I'm going back into the Vibes palette. And I'm grabbing the darker purple in there. The matte. Got plenty of shimmer, so this is going to be fine. And then I'm going to put that over that pinky purple. And I'm going to reach just a little bit in here. And I'm going to make a bit of a point. I'm basically, when I do this, I'm just trying to bring those colors together by having them both in the look. And then I kind of show myself where I'm going to be doing my wing. Continuing to use this darker purple over this edge. And there we go. All right, I'm going to go and finish the other eye, and I will be right back. Probably with the kids too. Alrighty, so we are going to do another quick spritz of setting spray, and then I'm going to show you how I do my cleanup. This is just going to be across the eyes. It's going to help set that whole area that I have issues with. Okay, so while that finishes drying, I'm going to clip my hair up. I guess we're going to clip these parts that get in my way up out of the way, because they tend to get into my makeup, my foundation. I don't know why that is. They're like, we're going to curl right into it. We want to be light brown, not dark. You're already turning silver. I don't know what this thing is. All right, so I have a lot more than usual to clean up because it's gotten down in here and over here. But this is generally what I do. I use my CoverGirl TruBlend Undercover. This is in the shade Warm Nude if you're looking for any kind of shade match. I like this color in the terms that it is kind of that orangey color that if you have dark circles and you're, a medium brown skin tone, it is supposed to help cover those up. I really do like the CoverGirl overall. I'm covering all of this mess up. I'm hitting everything that I'm going to need to cover up. I wouldn't normally put this much concealer on, but there is a lot of fallout from these. These, as you can see, these palettes are very pigmented, but the reverse of that is that they have a lot of fallout. But if you see, I'm kind of creating a line, and then I'm doing my cleanup. I need any on that side? Yeah, a little bit. And I cover my red around my nose, and I find all my dots. My skin has been having some issues lately, so we are covering up our dots that have shown up over the last, since I've been sick. Shit's all over the nose. All right. So, yes, we have concealed our face to death. It looks like a lot, especially for me. Especially to me. I use a flat foundation brush like this. To start. This is not what I use to finish, but this is what I use to start. And I go along the edge of my under eye because I am trying to get a pretty solid line. I want a straight line. I don't want it to be too much of a mess. I don't want to go into it too much. It will end up being partially covered up when I do my eyeliner, which I'm also going to show you guys my old way of doing it. Lately I've been using a lot of liquid pencils, eyelining pencils, liquid eyeliners. But I have another way that I prefer to do it See how that gives me a nice, smooth, straight line right under my eyes? Okay, when I got that done, I then finished brushing out with this, with a big floofy brush. These are all more motives, but I can brush it all out. My foundation should get anything that the concealer isn't covering up right now, other than a really stubborn piece of blue. As you can see, that took care of all of that fallout, almost all of that glitter. I will be right back with my foundation in place and my brows done, and then we will do our liquid liner, and then, yeah, that's where we're going right now. The day that refrigerator dies, it's going to be weird, because we will not be hearing that in the background. It will be strange. Anyway, I'm back. Face is done. So what I'm going to do now, something that I normally do with eyeshadow, single eyeshadows. I have a couple of single eyeshadows I use. You do have to be careful with the eyeshadows you choose, because like I've used a couple of what appeared to be dark blues that actually do not work very well. It's hard to get bright colors to work with this particular method. You probably want to go ahead and get some gel liners or a liquid eyeliner in those particular colors. But for at least a black or a dark brown, it works very well. Like I said, I normally use eyeshadow for this, but I'm trying to get rid of some things. So today I'm going to use the Suva. This is going to last me forever, but today I'm going to use the Suva gel liner in Grease. I should say the hydro liner, not gel liner, in Grease. That's going to be my eyeliner for today. I use a flat palette like this and matte setting spray. This is my NYX matte setting spray. I use this all the time. The Dewy's new to me. And then I use a brush like this. I much prefer a longer brush. Not e.l.f. ColourPop has a similar shaped brush like this. It is a little smaller, so if you're not used to this and you need a wider brush, this one is an Aesthetica. You do have to be careful. I did get a second Aesthetica and it ended up being thicker. You want it to be very, very narrow for this. So, and then I also use this e.l.f. This is their concealer brush. I don't know why, but I also use this little e.l.f. concealer brush. So something that's very small and very stiff and rounded like that. So what we do is we take our setting spray, we spritz that just down, a couple of them. I'll put whatever's left in that one in here. There we go. All right, so we've got that taken care of. Then you take your longer brush, the one that's on an angle. You take your angled brush. You dip it in your setting spray. Now don't overdo it. You don't want it to be too wet, because if it's too wet, it will leach out. You know, it'll do that spreading thing. And then you dip it into your eyeshadow or your hydro liner in this case. And you just go along here till you got some color on there. And then you just go ahead and pat it on. Like I said, I do this with eyeshadow. It's a way to use up eyeshadow. I am much better at doing it this way than I am at doing it the old-fashioned way with a liquid eyeliner stick thing. Just pat. And having this wide edge means that you don't have to work so hard to get that all on there. All right. There you go. And yes, I will be putting more color under there. About even. Don't need to cover up, guys. It's one thing I'm still working on with these things. All right. And then again, for the upper lid, you do pretty much the same thing. Oh, we're starting to lose it up here, but that's okay. I'll fix it for photos. Just follow the edge of your lashes. Just follow the edge of your lashes. Again, you want to be careful, not get your brush too wet, or you'll end up with, you know, lines all over the place. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this wing. We are already getting watery eyes. I am going to do this wing, and then I will go ahead and do my, finish off my other eye and put on my mascara and all that other stuff. So the nice thing about a longer one like this is it puts your line down in one fell swoop. And then you can just make this top. Knead it very carefully. I had to practice this for a bit. I would overshoot that line. But you just want something in there so you can see it. Because once it's in there, you're going to switch to the other brush. So you're going to do the same thing with your other little brush. You're going to take it and dip it into, you know, some of the setting spray you've set down, and you're going to dip it into your eyeshadow or your liner, your gel liner, or whatever it is you're using. Your hydro liner, which is what I'm using. And then you're going to use this to fill in and clean up that upper line if you need to, which I usually need to. A little wide here, but that's okay. Fix your point if you need to. We all know I do long points, but there you go. That's how you do it. Hope you can see that. Can you see that? I hope it looks okay. Anyway, alrighty, so I'm gonna go finish the other eye. I'm gonna put on the blush and all that other stuff, and I will be right back. Alrighty, so we are almost done. The last thing I'm going to do, and this isn't going to be very bright, but that's okay. We're not looking for really, really bright. We're looking for something to give us just a touch of shine and sort of help tone down just again a little bit. So I'm using the Limeade again, and I'm going to take this kind of not nearly as bright orange. It's kind of almost a peachy color, and I'm going to put that on the inner corner of my eyes using yet another mother brush. It also will help clean up some of the mess over here. Because we all know your girl's eyes get messy, right? And just to give it a something. Yeah, it's not showing up a lot, and that is fine. Doesn't need to. Goes right into that lighter purple under here. Makes it all feel like it fits. Cleans up. There's a little extra color. It's just a little bit of extra. And there's our look. So you can see it on the glasses. See it without the glasses. And there you go. Hair's looking good today. I'm really happy with that too. But she's back. You can't see her. Well, you could maybe see the bottom of it, but she's back in the box. Anyway, so that was our look, and here's another look at it. I'm probably losing a little bit above the, on the inside of the blue, where I typically lose it. But there is our look. Nice and bluesy with, you can barely see that gradient between the four different blues, since I mixed a couple of them, but it is there. The matte is just a touch brighter than the blues on the either side, and you can see a little bit of that purple up there. So, you know, the colors are there. If you do not have these palettes and these colors kind of scare you a little bit, you can always pick up something that is a little less brilliant. So you can pick up some more muted blues, some smokier blues, some murkier blues, pastel-y blues if you're that concerned. So you don't have to use these exact colors if you want to duplicate this look. And you don't have to be afraid of color. That's, that's our whole thing here at domytriesthis is don't be afraid of color. We love it. We try color, we play around with color, and your age doesn't matter. So there you go. Anyway, that is it for the day, and I hope you like what you've seen. And if you do like what you've seen and you're not yet subscribed, we hope you will subscribe. If you subscribe, lots of ifs. But if you subscribe, we hope that you will hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. I currently upload twice a week, Monday and Thursday. But we do have bonus videos that go up on other days. My son's My Geek Box is here, so that will be going up probably before this video. Yeah, probably before this video. In fact, it's probably going to be before the video before this. And we also do indie brand openings. I have one of those coming up very soon. And in the summer, we do our container gardening. At least I hope we're going to do our container gardening. Our weather is still being quite uncooperative. But we do hope to do those. If you're interested in any of those, I hope you are. If you're interested in any of those, you do need to have that notification bell clicked so that you are notified. Because like I said, they don't go up on regular days, normally. There has been a time or two, but normally. And we also do our subscriber mail when we get those for that too. We don't get a lot of that, but when we do, that also goes up as a bonus video on its own. Didn't mean to forget you ladies, sorry. And gentlemen, if there are gentlemen. I don't know if there are gentlemen. But if you are one of my notification squad, you'll probably want to check both your subscription and your bell to make sure they're both still active. If you choose not to subscribe, I'd be really disappointed and sad. Because as much as Sora doesn't like being picked up, we both like having the company here. Do you like having the company? She's out. She's not going to answer that question. I like having the company. So we'd love to see you come back again. And when you do come back again, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. It has only been steeping for about 15 minutes. Because that's just the way these particular videos work out. But 15 minutes for a tea that should be at full strength at 2. Yeah, 2 minutes steep time. Should be ready to go, right? We should have some nice flavor and all that. The color is interesting. Before I poured in my milk, it was kind of a pink color. When I poured in my milk, it kind of turned lavender. It's pretty, it's a very, well, I don't know. Okay. Don't want to spill it. It's still quite hot and quite full. Anyway, let's give her a sip and then we'll get on our merry way. Okay, some of that initial sweetness seems to have mellowed out. How odd. Okay. It's a good tea. It is not a fantastic tea. I don't think I'd rebuy it. Yeah, you know, for having pineapple and apple and mango and orange peel, I'm not getting any of that. I'm really not. It is a sweet tea. It is, and I mean, I'm getting sweetness, but I'm not, it's kind of fruity, but you're not getting fruit, which is really kind of disappointing, unfortunately. Teavana, you have disappointed me. However, with notes of wild orange blossom. You have orange peels, rose petals. There are no orange blossoms listed in the ingredients. So it's also got false advertising. But anyway, it tastes okay. It is not a fantastic tea. It's an okay tea. Yeah, we're going to stick with it's an okay tea. Not something that I'll buy again in the future. I will probably finish this up. If not, I'll just give it to my daughter. I don't think she would have a problem with it. It might be a little sweet for her. And if not her, then my son will love it. So I raise tea drinkers in my house. Anyway, that's it for the day. Hope you have a good one.